Okay, so first of all, just what is a piecewise functions? I remember when I saw the word piecewise as a student, I was like, I have no, it sounded intimidating, like what does it mean? But in simple words, it's really easy. It's just like pieces of functions, pieces, so like not the whole line. So like right here, if we had the whole line like usual, right, that would be like just a regular linear. But instead we have a piece of this one and a piece of that one. Okay, and they go together. That's basically what a piece function is. And not only two, we can have a lot. Like we can have any number. So like for example, I could have another function. I can make this one in here, and I could have a parabola right there. Okay, and that would be a piecewise function composed of three different functions. Does that make sense so far, guys? So. Anyways, and it can be any mixture. Does anybody remember from Algebra 2 what is a function and what's not a function? Some of my students have, some of them haven't. Do you guys remember, for example, is this a function or not a function? It's not a function, right? You guys remember you used to do, they call it the vertical line test. And then if it touched more than once, it's not a function. Do you remember that? So this is not a function. For these would be functions because it touches once, it touches once, it touches once. You get where I'm going with that? Okay. But look right here. The reason I'm emphasizing this is because look right at this spot. You have an open dot and a closed dot, right? So if I drew a vertical line test through there and they were both closed dots, then it wouldn't be a function because it's touching twice, just like right here, it's touching twice. So that's why, and it's really important for you to understand, that's why we do a closed dot here and an open dot there, because they can't overlap on the same X. Does that make sense, guys? You kind of, okay. That's just the general of what is a piecewise function, okay? Now, graphically, that's kind of what they look like, pieces. So now, how do they look like in equation form? And this is where we're going to start your notes. Okay, so I want you to, this right here, that's what they look like. Okay, I want you to put number 1 on your notes, number 1, and then put this on your notes. Okay. That's how they look. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the symbols. What does it mean? What does everything mean? And all that good stuff. And I'll just write it down. Once you understand them, I think they're kind of fun to work with. But it's just understanding the symbols and how it works. Okay, so as you're wrapping up, okay, let me, math, just another language, we just use different symbols. Okay, so for example, this little, I call it a little squiggly bracket. That's the way in math we communicate. These go together. Okay, so those three pieces of functions, it makes one function. F of x, okay, we haven't used function notation in this class, but you've seen it a lot. I just want you to know f of x, all it is a name. Just like you have a name, I have a name, it's just the name of that function. We could call it g of x, h of x, whatever, okay? The reason it has an x inside is because these equations are composed of x, okay? So we could have other letters if those equations were composed of other letters, but because they're all x's, we have f of x. Is that okay so far? Okay, now here's the new part, okay? This, okay? How do we display, so visually it's really easy to see. I want this piece, that piece. But how do we say that with symbols, with an equation? And that's what this is. Okay, so I'm gonna, this right here, guys, so write it down. Okay. That's how we communicate what piece I want, okay? So those are called domain restrictions. Domain restrictions. So I'm cutting the domain. I'm modifying the domain to just a piece. Okay. In simple words, think of it as cuts. Okay. I'm just making those cuts. Like I just want this piece, so I'm gonna cut it right there. Okay. Just think of it like that. Okay. So what you need to know is that this cut goes with this equation. Okay. This cut goes with that equation, and this cut goes with that equation. That they go like that. Okay. Everybody good so far? Okay, just a little intro to what it is. And so we graph these, okay, but we're gonna do that on Monday. Today we're just gonna evaluate. So I want you to put right below this, right, part A, and put the f of -4 on there. The f of -4, in simple words, would just say plug in x equals -4. Plug it into one of those equations. Okay? That's what this means. That's what that means, in simple words. But so that we don't have to write that every time, we just put f of -4. This is shorter. This says plug in 6, plug in -2. Okay? Okay, everybody good on the same page, same boat? Okay, because now we're gonna get to the next part. I'm gonna separate this video.